Welcome back everyone to the Martial Arts Show. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel so you can get updated on every time I release a video. And I'd love your feedback too, always looking for some ideas where you want to see this show go. Obviously at this stage with the coronavirus, I'm limited, I can't get out to the schools yet, but that's definitely a goal. So if you have a martial arts school that you would want to see in these videos, you've got something to tell. It doesn't matter if it's a small story, you might be a little school in a hall, you might be a big club, we want to hear from you. Okay, today I'm going to talk about something interesting, and this is a question I've got asked a lot for many years, is why do martial arts do all those funny movements where you see them punching from the hip? They're doing all these weird sorts of blocks. Often comments that I get is, when is that ever going to save you in a fight? Well, you know what? It probably never will. That's not the purpose of why martial arts do moves such as that. One of the main reasons we do it is coordination. I'm sure most of us felt a bit uncoordinated from time to time, maybe doing a new sport, a new activity. Coordination is not something you always naturally have. Some people do tend to pick coordination up, but it is a skill, it's something to be developed, and the good news is you can improve your coordination, doesn't matter what age. Some of us, we struggle a little bit. So martial arts, when people start out, we start off with these basic moves. Now let me just get into what's commonly known as either a sitting stance, a horse riding stance, a wide parallel stance, or it might have a translation in Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Thai, whichever. The stance tends to be feet parallel, and I know you can't really see my feet on the video. I'll try to come back a little bit so maybe you can. Alright, so feet parallel, so toes, like they're standing on railway tracks, and they tend to be about twice the shoulder in width. We sit into this stance, so the hips sit back over the heels slightly, knees just sort of blocking out maybe a couple of toes if I look down without sort of bending forward. And then we start one punch upside down on the hip bone. Now, what we're teaching here is reciprocation. So as one hand comes back, the other one comes out. I'm just come a little bit closer so you can see that as the hands change, there's a twist going on. You can see that the right hand's coming over as the left hand comes upside down. Now, if you're trying this at home, you may find that this is even tricky. Now, this is actually a good skill to do just for improving memory retention and coordination, because it's the left and right hemispheres of the brain talking to each other. It's improving those connections, so it's actually really healthy for the mind. Bang, bang. So that's a movement we tend to start everyone off, even in their first class. And yet again, it's not about saving you in a fight. There's nothing to do with that. It's helping to build coordination. Because martial arts, we need to be just as skilled on the left side of our body to our right. We'll have a dominant side, but unless both sides talk to each other and work efficiently, we can't generate maximal power. And it makes it harder when we do get to a position where we are in a fight, that if we're not coordinated, we're not going to do too well. So let's take a move like that, and let's see where that comes into maybe a mainstream fighting situation. So let's adopt a fighting stance. Okay, now your guard might be slightly different depending on where you've studied, but a typical boxer's guard is picked up by most martial arts. And remember, boxing is a form of martial arts too. It's just not commonly put into that frame. So a good boxer, kickboxer, martial arts from this stance will understand that after a movement like a jab, which tends to be a leading punch off our weaker hand, when we go to throw our cross, that is our power punch. That's our real maximum one. I remember training with an instructor of mine, and he always used to call the jab a shock and the cross a shatter. Now, did you notice what I did with my left hand as it come back, as I extended my right hand out? It come straight back. So it was that reciprocation. Now, where did we see that earlier? From that hip punch. Reciprocation. And we now know through studies of body movement, physical education teachers look at this as well. People that just go into physics as well will look at generating power and how we can maximize it. And it's not just one punch going on its own. By pulling that back, it creates an effect through the body which helps us generate speed, and speed equals power. You'll often have heard, if you haven't already, the famous Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He really nailed it, because when he was talking about staying loose and getting speed, and speed will get that sting, will get that bang, that power. So that reciprocation of the left and right helps coordinate the move, generate power and skill. So why do we get to that point so later on? Is because if you can't master this, then you really can't master this sort of stuff. Okay, bang. The other thing you'll see, as I illustrated at the start, is the blocks. Why do they block like this? Why don't they just block one hand at a time? You can do that, but by using that other arm, whether it's here, some systems develop more over here, but it's the same theory. The pulling back of one hand, extending out of the other, helps generate power. It also encourages body movement. And I know I harp on about this in my videos, but hips hold the key to the power. So twist, by aiding the twist and helping the body coordinate, we have a bit of what I used to always refer to as an aiming arm, and that's my right arm. It's like I'm looking down my sight. I've got my weapon loaded here. Fire, fire. And you can see I'm not just using my arms, but using the whole body and the hips to help generate that power. So that's just a quick insight into why we do some of these funny moves. They may look strange, yet again, you may look at it and go, well, where's that going to help you in a self-defense situation? Initially, it's not. Long term, in a way, it is. Interesting, but if you want to just improve your general coordination, even if you're not looking at getting martial arts, throw a couple of these funny moves around. It's really healthy for the mind and for the body. So I hope you enjoyed the session today, and we'll see you again soon on the Martial Arts Show.